It's Wednesday night again. Time for Wellness Wednesday, and we've got Homestead Q&A. Your questions tonight. Um, so it's getting to be spring. We got chickens coming tomorrow. Hopefully, they should be coming. We're going to do a lot of Freedom Rangers this year and a handful of the Cornish Cross, which is different than last year's. So Mark just did the video on breeds of chickens on the homestead. So as far as meat breeds go, that's what we're doing this year. Gonna mix it up a little bit because we really like those Freedom Rangers. They're just so hearty and tasty, and they make a lot of fat, and chicken fat is truly an amazing product. So that's what we're doing. We got them starting already. Because they do take longer, I had to change my usual schedule. So, hey, Keith, good evening. So I don't usually start them this early, but we are this year just so that we have time to get 3 groups of chickens in so we can raise all the birds that everybody wants. Um, our chicken CSA, by the way, still has room. So if anybody needs chicken this summer, this is the best way to get it. We're in love with the Freedom Rangers. So we're going to do a lot of those. Lot of those because they have a ton of flavor. They take a little longer, but they forage better, so it offsets the feed costs. And they are just a better bird all the way around. The Cornish Cross, they're just made to sit at the feeder and eat and cut apart well and make really good boneless, skinless breast. But if you're not into boneless, skinless breast, like we aren't anymore, then we never actually were. Boneless, skinless breast. Good grief. But I have a couple customers that want it, so we'll raise some Cornish Cross for them. And the rest are going to be the brown birds. So that's pretty fun. And the chickens are less, which makes me very happy. I still have about a third of a bucket of my lime watered eggs. And they're doing good. The yolks get a little soft, but they still make fabulous scrambled eggs. They taste good. And if you're really, really careful, you can actually get it in the pan to make a fried egg. So that's good too. You can have a little bit of everything. But it's always fun when the hens start laying again and you get fresh eggs, and it's just fun. It's kind of like the Easter Bunny, and you're going on an egg hunt, except it's an everyday thing, and you get to eat good, healthy stuff at the end. So, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Clicking things here in a minute, and it's thinking. But yeah, it's springtime. So, fun thing. Apparently, the U.S. Senate is considering a bill to actually do something useful for a change because, frankly, the legislatures don't do useful things. Not at all. They should really go home half the time and listen to people instead of hobnobbing in Washington. They're pretty useless, but they're considering doing a useful thing, and that is standardizing our time so that we don't have this stupid flip flop. Um, Apparently, there are 30 states that want it to stay the same, but some of them are like, well, but if my friends won't do it, then I won't do it, which is really stupid. But that's what they're saying. So they're debating this. Why it's up for debate is exactly why they need to go home more often and actually listen to people. But they're trying to decide, should it be set at the daylight savings time or standard time? And this is like a huge debate that could stop the whole show, which is really stupid. We had someone today, though, ask us, so as farmers, which is better? I have to tell you, I've told you before, in health practices in the Ayurveda, say, look to nature. What is nature doing? That's what you should do. Look at our farm animals. Honestly, do they care? Do they know? Time And this is a thing to wrap your head around. Time is a very human made, subjective thing. Even though the seconds tick by, tick, 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 we experience time very subjectively. I mean, it's the difference between how you experience time when you're having coffee with friends or sharing a meal versus sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's. It's entirely different. Your experience of time, even, excuse me, though it goes objectively, it's a very human thing. Nature doesn't do minutes and seconds. Nature does seasons. Nature does times. Nature understands cycles, um, harder winters and easier winters and drier summers and wetter summers. Nature understands all those things. Nature doesn't really give two figs if we're on daylight savings time or standard time. It's really a moot point. The pigs don't have watches. They don't care. So, which is better? They're both good. Just pick one and stay on it. This messes with our health in a lot of ways. I'm going to be leading a little bit different. I do it different every time. But the detox this spring, we're going to do it more in segments. And one of the segments is bringing your routine into rhythm so that you're in, yeah, exactly. And it's a Pavlov kind of thing, which bringing your daily activities into a rhythm so that your body can do a daily detox. It's set up so that you detox every day. You still need to do your seasonal ones because season things accumulate and you need to help condition your system from one season to the next. So you don't carry the hot and dry of summer into the cold and dry of, because that dries out your digestive system, leading to all sorts of gas and constipation, dry skin, dry hair, compromised immune system. Whereas when you do a changeover and you shed that excess heat, then you're in condition to go into winter in a healthy way. In the same way, we accumulate sludge through the winter and we need to shed the sluggishness of winter into the wet, moist heat of summer. You got to help your body do that. But it's much easier and you have a better chance even if you don't have the time or the practice of a seasonal detox. If you can do a daily detox, you're okay. And that has to do with sunrise and sunset. Those are incredible for setting your internal clock. When you eat, helps because your internal clock is running any which way. When you eat, makes a difference in whether or not your body can really assimilate and use your food well. When you sleep, makes a huge difference. When you wake up, makes a huge difference. If you can wake up in the brighter, more mobile energy of the morning around sunrise, which right now is pretty easy, or before sunrise, you're going to have more energy all day. That means that you need to go to bed on time. Right about 10 o'clock-ish, your body naturally wants to be in bed and start going into a deep clean cycle. Think about the point when you hit your second wind. That's when that cycle's kicking in. It's a hot, fiery cycle because it's incinerating all the junk in your system. That's its job. And then you have this time. And if you wake up about 2 or 3 in the morning and you know how your brain's just all over about random things, that's that energy. But it's an energy of motion and space. So it cools your system back down and moves all that junk to the waste management area, which, like Inga said, wake up, get it moving, drink a glass of warm water, which acts as a flush to push everything out. and you're good to go for the day. But you're hitting a natural rhythm and a natural cycle that you can mark it by the clock, and it kind of helps. And as you pay attention and you notice as it changes through the seasons, it has more to do with the sun than it does the clock. Get up before sunrise or at sunrise. See the red light rays. That's the I was golden thing about the sunrise, but that's the huge value is those UV red frequency light waves that turns your mitochondria on, gets the energy system up and moving, and gets you going for the day. Eat your biggest meal at the midpoint in the day. If you got to mark it on the clock, it's somewhere between 10 and 2. But, eat your big meal during the day. And then towards the evening, you can feel your body slowing down. Just a little bit of food, slow down, relax through your evening. It'll feel very natural once you get used to doing it. And then go to bed. If you got to mark the clock, do it at 10. Otherwise, go to bed when you're tired. Isn't that a revolutionary idea? As moms, sometimes we can't. You got a toddler that got that stinking afternoon nap, and now they're wired for sound. But this is a phase. It's a time. As a practice, life practice, go to bed at night when you're tired. When you start paying attention to that, you'll notice how early it is. But that's your body asking for what it needs. When you do these things and you're in rhythm, your body will naturally detox every day, and get rid of it. But we live life and it's not perfect. And so at the junctures of the seasons is our opportunity to clean it all out and get reset. So you're in good shape to go into the next season. So message me. Most of you know how to get hold of me, or drop a comment either in the comments and I'll get a link to you to join that. I haven't made it yet because I'm remaking this whole experience. And I haven't done it this way before. And, if you really want to do a deep scientific kind of dive, I can send you to a couple people that I know and trust and have worked with before, and they're really, really good. But, if you just want to experience a changeover in the season, changeover in your body that's simple, doable, not stressful, that you don't have to spend a lot of money on. I'm not selling you any kits because nature has provided everything around that we need. And if we just go with the juncture of the seasons, it's fine. And it doesn't matter if we're on daylight saving time or standard time. Just stay on a time. Pick one and stick with it. But the rhythm is what really matters, the rhythm of things. So that was a question that we had this week. And Wellness Wednesday. So, I'm going to shut off one of the streams here. All of you on Facebook, have a great and wonderful week. Here we go. And we're getting ready for Tribe Day. Someone mentioned on the Tribe, Anyone Can Farm Tribe on Facebook. If you're not on that, Anyone Can Farm Tribe on Facebook. It's a group. Make sure you answer the question. Got a whole bunch of people that just couldn't be bothered. And so then I'm not going to check them all out and why they didn't do it. So you don't get in if you don't just tell me where on earth you heard about it. It's easy. But someone mentioned they got milk and turned it into feta cheese. And we're going to be doing that Tribe Day. I haven't exactly figured out how we're going to do the cheese because it takes more than an hour to make most of them. But we'll give it a go and we'll get introduced to it anyway. We'll make mozzarella and fried cheese. The fried cheese we might actually get done in our hour slot, but otherwise it's going to be there and you get to see you get to do the whole process, experience it. And I may even share and you can take some home. But we're going to be making cheese. It's really fun. Mark's been working on the biochar. He's going to do a segment on that. I haven't mention this to anyone else, but we've had so many people that said, "Oh, I do this cool thing. Do you think other people would want to know?" It'd be fun to do a skill share. So we got time yet. It's not until July, but you should get signed up, especially if you want to camp here on the farm. We're going to do Campfire Friday night for everyone who's here. We're going to do Campfire for anybody that wants to stay Saturday night. Brittany, just do it. Everything comes. When you commit yourself to doing something, it happens. It'll come. Everything you need will happen. So I need you to sign up for this thing, Brittany, and plan to come no matter what so that the gas prices go down. Because that's how the universe will answer you. Say, "Oh, yeah, it's all good, Brittany. We got you." Either that or, maybe somebody will just gift you what you need. But we'd really love it if it was the gas prices going down in response to your determination to join us. Because your goat milk makes, historically, feta is made with goat milk. And it's really easy. Mozzarella is super easy. I almost never screw things up so bad I have to throw them away. I did screw up provolone this week, and I ended up throwing it away. It doesn't happen, but it did this week because I was visiting with people. We had stuff we had to talk about, and it over acidified, so it was really sour, and the kids didn't like it even. So I couldn't even wing it. But mozzarella and feta, you can wing really easy. And if I've walked away in the middle of making both of them before and come back, and they turned out okay. Different maybe, but they were okay. They were edible. So we'll be making those. Introducing you to how to make cheese, how to make biochar. Andrew Cross is going to be back with some permaculture and food forest stuff. We have a panel that will be talking about how to start a homestead. And these are people that have actually done it, actually started a homestead, actually doing the thing. Rachel Jameson, they've got on the search for their property, and they were raising a pile of food in their flower beds, in backyards, and co-oping with farmers, sourcing from farmers to get the food that she wanted. So everybody's coming from a really cool place, different place, and that'll be fun to have. Plus lots of food. We're going to kill the fatted hog and maybe some chickens if there's lots of people. That would be awesome. And put them on the barbecue. Everyone else brings something to share because it's really fun. I love farm get-togethers. People bring great food, and they bring real food. Church potlucks. I generally just have coffee and talk with people because the food's, yeah. My dream is that someday church people and farm people will get that it goes together. That food is a sacred thing. Eating is a sacred act, and our body's a temple. What you put in it absolutely matters. And if it comes out of a box or a can, you're not honoring your temple. You are junking it up. And that makes it a really poor place to worship in. People do, and I'm glad they do. But food is sacred, and it's wonderful. And your body really needs real food, because living food. We're here for life. Anyway, so that's my little plug. I'm going to turn it over to Mark. He's got one question. Inga, I think he's going to talk about your questions from last week. We went on a drive to get some stuff this morning, and I pumped him with your questions. And so I primed the pump there. And we had another one, if I can find it back for him. If you have questions, if you put them in the chat completely in caps, because then we see it and we know it's not just chatter. It's something that we actually have to pay attention to closely, and it'll get answered. Mark will give you his spiel. So I'm going to go grab Mark.
I couldn't hear you. Sorry. Oh, son. All right. I will was not paying attention to what was going on here. Sorry about that.
Here's Inga's questions, if you can read my scrawly handwriting, and I'll try and find that other question.
All right. Good enough. All right. Greetings. We got with us tonight. We got Brittany and TSX, Keith, Inga, Lenny, Brittany, Coastal, all right, so I know who I'm dealing with. All right, great day today. I have this new thing here. It's here's what it looks like. It's just a drawing pad, and all I have to do is manipulate the laptop here a little bit, and then I can draw, and you can see what I'm trying to explain. So I guess I should have used it today. I said I was going to get smart about it, but I was busy with other stuff. Well, what was I busy with? You want to know? I was, we drove down to Clare to get a used refrigerator, and that is for our milk share program, or our cow share program. So when people want to get milk, they can just pull up to the butcher shop and step out, go into the refrigerator there. Their milk will have their name on it. So when people come and want to get raw milk from us, raw cow's milk, we assign them a day. And like if your day is Wednesday, then when we milk and we're putting the milk in jugs, we'll look at the schedule and it'll say Wednesday, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So you write on the jug, Wednesday, Katie, Wednesday, Tom, like that. And so people, that's their milk. And so let's say they don't come on Wednesday and they come on Thursday, then their milk is waiting for them. Instead of them saying, well, I couldn't come on Wednesday, so I'll come on Thursday, but I want Thursday milk. You can't do that. You just can't do that. So we're only generating about 5 gallons of milk a day. And so we have to assign each gallon of milk to the person who wants it so that, we have an equitable system here that works for everybody and us too, because we can't wind up with a bunch of milk that nobody wanted, which we sometimes do anyway. If it doesn't go, then it goes up here into the back room, and then it can be used in the kitchen. They can make butter and cheese and all that good stuff out of it. So anyway, that's what we did. We went and got this fridge. Didn't look as good in real life as it did in the pictures, and it was in a pretty raunchy section of town. However, neither of us wanted to say, well, we don't want it. So we got it and brought it home and got it plugged in. It worked fine. Jill cleaned it up real nice. I took a bunch of junk out of it that wasn't necessary. And hey, it's all right. You can tell it's old, but that's the way it works, right? $150 for a fridge. Okay, more good stuff. All right. I better read some of this stuff. All right. Time is Pavlov conditioning. Okay. Oh, Brittany, you must be talking about the Tribe Day. Yeah, there's a lot of interest in Tribe Day, man. That's good. That's good. I think we're going to have a good time. Me and Jim are doing the biochar. Everything's biochar these days around here. We're going to be doing the biochar demonstration. I think that will be neat. We've got a lot of really fun things that are happening. So, all right. Okay. So I got a couple questions here from Inga. So I'm going to try turning this baby on. Okay. There it goes. Let's see. What's my next thing?
Your thing worked.
Huh?
It worked.
Well, I'm writing on it and nothing's happening. So I don't think it is working. I think there's one more step. There's one more step. I did the first step. I turned this on. What's the next step?
And it's not writing on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but why is it not? Okay, now try writing on it.
There was 2 steps.
Yeah, but we don't have a pen here. Oh, man. Oops, hang on. Because you steal my mouse. Oh, you. I don't know.
Quit. Stop, please.
I don't know.
No. Okay, then we don't
I
have
had
it.
it working. And
Well, what did you do besides that?
that was it. And
That was
then
it.
got that up and something went wrong. And it just keeps wanting to do that. Darn it.
Just
Sorry.
quit the.
Okay. Well, now it won't even do that. Oh, hang on. There you go. Now try it. There you go.
So where am I? Like, I don't know if.
Right there.
All right. Can I have both screens?
I can't make it so you can see yourself and have a writing place.
All right. Well, let's just do it another time then, because it's not going to work for me.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I guess that's not going to work. Sorry about that. All right. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So, Inga had some interesting questions here, but it does require that I have some way to write. And unfortunately, we did away with the whiteboard up here, and that was a good way to do it. But this is not working. So how do I talk my way through this?
You could use the chalk markers and right there on the board if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I'm just gonna defer these till tomorrow night because that's not gonna cut it. You know, this thing's supposed to work. So I'm just gonna defer till tomorrow night. And I'll just because I really do need to diagram it out. You know, I can't explain it to you if I can't diagram it out because you haven't even seen the unit. So it's hard to answer this question if I don't. And it's kind of funny because now this mouse is not working either. Oh, there it is. There it is. The mouse is working. All right. All right. How about some other conversation then? Okay, it's Wednesday night and it's Q&A night, and I'm here to take your questions as far as whatever we've been talking about, which we've been talking about biochar and the use of biochar. I was really surprised. I got a lot of thumbs downs on the biochar talk. It's really surprised me. It was over on Rumble. I was looking on Rumble and I saw like a ton of thumbs down. But there was, I don't know, maybe I'm not performing the way that they think I should, but at least that means there's a lot of people that are listening. I mean, you listen to something long enough to go all the way just to give it a thumbs down. That's new for us. That's really new. So I am here to take your questions. And if there's no questions, I guess we'll just sign off. You know, why not? I am working on some signage today. We wound up going up to the mill to see if we could get some nice dry wood to use. And we got a pallet of really thin staves for $15 and brought them home and got them put in the retort and lit it off. And I checked it right before I came up to the house right before 8 o'clock and it was still going. So they did work. We were a little concerned that they were a little too wet to operate, but it did work. So what is it that you guys want to know about? Let's see. I didn't prepare anything tonight because usually we have a pile of questions. There was some questions that were printed out from email, but I don't know. They're gone. I don't know where they went. So I really don't have anything. If you guys don't have any questions, maybe we can wrap this one up early tonight. That's fine. Oh, I don't see anything on here.
The question was if you can fence mangalitas with just electric.
All right. So it was relayed to me verbally. The question was, can you fence in mangalitas with only electric? You can. I did have questions, but I forgot what they were. Okay, well, then you can fence in mangalitas with only electric. I know people that do it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want, you know, the way my operation is set up, I've got a lot of things going at the same time. So I've got a vegetable garden going and another vegetable garden going. We've got hay fields going. We've got chicken tractors going, and you know, this feed in with the chicken tractors. If my pigs were to get out, let's say a whole bunch of them got out, in a few short hours, they can turn things really upside down. And then how do you get them back in? Once they figure out that they can get out, I don't want that scenario to be happening. So I always do woven wire, and then on the inside of that, a single strand of electric. So if they breach the single strand of electric, then they're up against the woven wire, and I should catch that in time. And I always do, or mostly always do. The time when it gets a little bit froggy is this time of year, because they've been on nothing, ice and snow, and then now they're on mud. As soon as it gets, as soon as it thaws, it's pretty sloppy. And then on the other side of that fence is green grass. So if they see that, it's a visual. And then if they start nibbling at the root of the fence, if you don't have electric there, they'll get some roots and they'll just keep going, until they're pushing their nose under the fence or pushing their nose through the fence if it's woven wire. And you've got to stop them from doing that. So if you have a strand of electric that's in a foot, some people even put 2 strands. I don't think it's necessary really, but whatever people want to do, so long as it's not ineffective, it's just going to be more effective, I think. More than 2, I just don't see it. I think it's kind of a waste of materials, but you have that barrier of the woven wire there. So even if your electric fence goes down, it takes them a while to realize it's down. And then once they figure out it's not working and they're fooling around on the other side of it, they're still up against the woven wire. And that will hold them for a little while until you catch them. And it could be a week, it could be days, depending on how aggressive they are to getting at that grass on the other side. But one of the reasons why I'm a big advocate for feeding every day instead of just putting out an automatic feeder is you can go a long time without seeing your pigs. And so if they're doing something, you might not catch it. But if you feed every day, you're out there, you can tell by the way they're acting. If their nose is at the root of the fence and there's about 5 of them and you just see nothing but butts facing you, they're up to something. So if you're out there feeding every day, you'll catch anything that's going wrong. You should, All right. Okay, Brittany does have a question. How do you think steers would do with electric netting? I'm probably doing myself a real bad thing because I know several people who are very well versed in the farming community, and they are big Premier One advocates. So they get these big contracts to talk up electric netting. I've gotten electric netting twice now. The first time I thought, well, it's just me, but this stuff doesn't really work very good. And then I did it again. I got it again. I got a different kind of netting. I don't really remember which was which. One was white, one was green. And neither of them really work very good. The big draw on it is you can move it. But for steers, I have just as much luck moving a single strand of poly wire and keeping them behind that. The danger that I see, what happened to me with netting, was you'll have a group of animals that will be close to the netting, and one of them will get shoved and their foot will go through it. And then when they pull back after they get shocked, they pull the net with them. And then they pull it into the other pigs, or it happened to us with this is way back when we had goats, and I had a goat that got wrapped up in it, and it happened twice. One time it didn't turn out good. The goat was dead when I got there. But the other time I was working on something and I could hear a goat going, "Meow, meow, meow," and it was the frequency of it was it was too consistent, and I knew something's wrong here. And I went over there, and here's a stupid goat wrapped up in a fence, electric netting fence. And every time the fence pulsed, the goat would meow. And if I hadn't caught it, I mean, that would have been a dead goat too. I think that was the end of it right there when we said, heck with this stuff. So I pulled all the posts off of the netting, and I still have the posts around here that I've used for various things. But I'm sorry, I don't think it looks good. And it just didn't really work good for me. I think it gets endorsed by people who, if they say it's a good thing, okay, it's a good thing, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Maybe those netting companies aren't going to be looking to me to do any advertising anytime soon. So I just don't think it's good. And if you get steers tangled up in it, I think you're going to have real problems. The other thing about it is, like with a single strand of polywire, you can get a reel, and you can reel it all up. So you can disconnect it on one side and reel it up, and you got it. And you have a strap that hangs around your neck. You can push it off to the back of you while you go out and set your posts, and then pull it on to your posts, connect up the reel over on the hard fence, and you're good to go. Everything's working. But with the netting, it comes in sections. I forget whether it's 50 feet or 75 feet. I don't really remember. But you'd walk it, and you'd pick up a post and you hang it on your arm, and then you keep walking. You pick up another post and hang it on your arm. All the while, you're dragging a good share of net with you. And by the time you get to the end, it's like, holy smokes, you've got a lot of weight. And then you've got to go to your next location where you're going to set it up. I'm assuming that you're thinking you're going to do rotational grazing. It could be a long way away. So you could be, walking a long way with that. Or what do? You've got all these posts, and then in between posts, I would say it's probably 20 feet. And when you fold that over, so you've got 10 feet dragging, and let's say you put the posts in the back of a Gator or a Jeep or something, and then what? You're dragging 10 feet along behind you? Boy, I hope that doesn't get tangled up in the back wheels. That will be ugly. So, no, I don't like it. I think it's cumbersome, and I don't think it really works good. I have two people that I know of that have lost animals in electric netting fence, and I just don't think it's that good. We had sheep for a while, and I think that's why we got it the second time. And someone told me, oh, with sheep, you got to have it. And the reason is, well, it's in between posts, it's floppy, like it sags quite a bit. So the sheep won't rub up against it. And this was way back. And I thought, that makes sense. I wonder who that guy is that told me that. I do not remember, honestly. It was somebody around here. And so I got that fence again. And of course, I got 2 rolls of it. So there was enough that I could, set a 4 fence and a drag fence and a 4 fence, and then change them and stuff. And the goats that I had or the sheep that I had at the time would chew out, like it has a hot wire and then a hot wire and then a hot wire. And down by the bottom, it'll have a ground that's sitting on the ground. And I think maybe 2 or 3 of them, I don't remember. And these dumb sheep would chew out the plastic that was in between them. And so they would ground out. And they were pretty consistent about it, as if they ate the plastic. Yeah, it was pretty rough. Okay. I bet the government agents would love to have someone's pig get out. Good PR for their site. Yeah. However, animals in agriculture and them leaving, getting out is a fact of life. It happens all the time, right? Now, it is the farmer's responsibility to keep your animals in, but it's also your responsibility to keep your car in between, the center line and the fog line. But occasionally you see somebody that strays out. Oh, well, mistakes happen. Hopefully it's not because you were looking at your phone or some foolishness, which I know goes on like terribly. But it does happen. It doesn't mean that, agents can come in and say, you're no longer allowed to farm because, see, you're not perfect. Your animals did get out. They don't have that option. I'm here to tell you it is my process, my farm, my animals. They got out. Oh, you don't like that? I'm sorry. But that's as far as it goes. They don't get to take away anything from me because my animals got out. It's like if my dog gets off the leash, and let's say there's a city ordinance that your dog has to be on a leash, then write a freaking ticket then, all right? Write a ticket. But if my cow gets out on the road, it's like, hey, get your cow in. All right, I'll get my cow in. All right, thanks for telling me. They don't really have the option to write tickets as far as I know. But they kind of come unglued if it's a pig. Actually, they don't come unglued. They use it against you. They say, see, we told you can't keep pigs in. Well, all right, Junior Walker, my pigs have been in for consecutively about 10 years now. And let's say something goes wrong and one of them gets out. You're going to say that, okay, they've been in for 10 years, and because one of them got out, that it's, you're going to take away my birthday because of that. Go ahead and try, but you're not going to get it. And if a lot of this has to do with if you identify them as over you, then that's part of the problem. They're actually servants. They're servants, right? So they don't get to tell me when to go to bed. They don't get to tell me, how to dress or anything like that. That's actually my responsibility. I get to tell them how to dress, right? So this has really it's swung to the other direction so far that, you get questions like that. And I know that the ghost is trying to get the conversation going, and I appreciate that. But we really do need to talk about things like that more as it pertains to farming. I think a lot of people in farming think, well, if I make one mistake, that's it. They're going to take away my birthday. They're not. All right. Okay. I'm still not sure where the Canadian government, each province stands with raising pigs on pasture. There again, we shouldn't even have this conversation. It's not their place to decide how we're going to run our process. They're not supposed to be given opinions like that. They need to do what we have asked them to do, period. When they start having opinions and putting their opinions out, like here in the States, the DNR, especially in Midwest, will say, oh, gee, we think that we ought to do this, right? All right. What you need to do then is you need to get a hold of a state rep and say, here, we're going to make our case to you. You put a bill forward so we can proceed with this. And if they can't get a bill put forward, they need to shut the hell up, right? And just empty the trash cans. That's all we need you to do, right? trim the paths. Do that. But as far as policies, we're not interested in what you have to say. If you have expert opinion, give that to a legislator and let them push it forward. But as far as you doing that, no, that's not your job. Yeah, Canadian government is really well. It's not really the government though. Would you guys agree? See, Americans. I was talking to my kids today, and I said, Americans are just a different breed. Like there's a group of guys that get together every year in the United States, and they print guns. They have 3D printers, and they print as many of the parts as they possibly can on that. Get together and they have a shoot, right? So these guns are, made. They're homemade. Once, they'll use like a barrel, but a barrel's not a controlled, unless it's all together, it doesn't need to be serialized. It's just that's an uncontrolled part. So they'll build a lower receiver and a slide, and they'll put a barrel on there that will, feed the ammunition and fire it off. And they get together and they have shoots, and they sort of are tempting federal agents, like, come on, do something. And the federal agents are like, hey, we really can't. And my kids were asking me, well, why is that? And I said, because weapons manufacturers in the United States operate under an agreement with the BATF. And their agreement is, okay, we're going to make these things, we're going to serialize them, and we're going to sell them to authorized arms dealers, right? That's the agreement. Then when they go to an authorized arms dealer, the authorized arms dealer says, okay, we will record per the serial number who this was sold to. And those records, you can't see them, but we will keep those records. They will be in a permanent database. That's the agreement that they have. But like, I'm not a weapons manufacturer. So if I have a printer and I get a PDF file that will actually print out like a Glock 19, and then all I have to do is drop a barrel into it and a mainspring, I have no agreement with anybody that I won't do that. So I'm not violating any agreement. There is no a weapon like that would be private property, and under the Fifth Amendment, your private property is protected under due process of law. So if you can find me a law that says I can't manufacture a firearm, I would like to see that. Now, maybe I'm missing something here, but why is it that these guys can do this? And these PDFs are everywhere. They are not controlled. They are not. There seems to be no pushback on that. Maybe I don't know the rest of the story on that. That could be. Coastal says the U.S. isn't run by Castro's illegitimate kid. No, that's true. Castro's illegitimate kid has, an ideology that is communist. They think communism is a good thing. They think they can do things better, and it comes from their misguided thinking that all men are not created equal, right? He thinks he is an elite guy that can make decisions much better than we can. And they believe that we are relying on them to make decisions for us. But most of the time we just blow them off and a lot of their foolishness. Unfortunately, in the United States, people who get into politics, they are, a lot of times they're actors, and they show us one face, but they really hate us. They really hate us, the machine, the prosperity creating machine that American workers are, and America, drive and perseverance and all that stuff. They hate us. They are parasitic in nature. I say this all the time. And they do everything they can to trip us up, except when it comes to us making money for them, and they steal from us constantly, and they launder the money, and it mostly goes to them. Like, how do some of these politicians wind up being so filthy rich when they're in Congress for 30 years? How does that happen? And it's so out in the open. It just shows you that they own, the three-letter agencies. They own them. And that's just the way it is. Will it always be that way? I wonder, but I think that is the deep state that we're so concerned about. Yeah. So you may have a communist up there, but we have just a bunch of grubby little parasite thieves and beggars. And, to our face, they tell us one thing, but they show their character. I mean, it's so easy to see. I mean, the latest thing that happened, this still kind of bothers me. We have a guy here locally that's a senator, and he came to our farm for business reasons. He was picking up animals that we had processed for him, right? And he says, "So, Gigi, I'd love to meet some of your friends. I'd love to come by." He would talk patriotic things and we the people and all this stuff. And I was like, well, okay, maybe you're better than the last guy. The last guy was weak, wasn't even really a good actor. We could see through him instantly. And the people he had working for him were pretty bad too. But maybe this guy's better, is what I was thinking. And because here he was on my property, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'd like to." And so I said, "All right, I can organize that. I can put it out to my network that you're going to come by the farm, and it gives we the people, a chance to say, what about this? And what about this? Answer me this, Junior, why you voted this way. I want to know." And we had a good jag of people that were going to be here, like more than 50. And 10 days prior, this guy's assistant called me and said, "Oh, he can't make it. He can't make it. He's got something else came up." And I thought, I am so naive, really, when it comes to these scumbags, or I was. I thought maybe his office staff double booked him, and he doesn't know that this is happening. Because when I talked to the kid, I was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Like, that's the height of unprofessionalism. And here's 50 fairly influential people in my network that would be here, that are going to tell their friends that this guy punked on a meetup like this, which this is grassroots, man. This is what it's all about. And I thought maybe his administrators had done something that he didn't know about. I thought the actual senator had more integrity than that. So I thought, I better make a phone call. So I had his cell phone, still do. And I said, "Are you aware of this?" Because I thought maybe his people were just interns, unprofessional, and when he heard that, I kind of expected he would say, "Whoa, I did not know that." Instead, he said, "Well, yeah, I do know about that. And, I've been getting together with my siblings for 25 years. And what it was the opening day of bow hunting season. And so he shot himself in the foot, though. I don't know. Seemed very. So he's saying to me, "Well, yeah, I know I planned this, and you've got your network that's activated, but I want to go bow hunting with my friends." For a senator or a representative, supposed to be a professional, I just thought, wow, you just showed what your integrity is all about there, pal. And I just said to him, I didn't know what to say, actually. I was like, maybe we can reschedule this another time. But no, I'm not gonna, and not gonna at all. I mean, I'm not gonna do that at all. So that's just, American politicians are notoriously self-centered and not going to Lansing or to Washington for the good of the people. They don't really care. They do not even like the people, right? That they're notorious for that. So whenever you meet them and you're like awestruck by, holy smokes, a U.S. senator. You need to see through that. You need to see through that, because why are they there? Where did they get the money to run a campaign? Their own, right? Or is there somebody behind them that wants them to do a couple of things while they're there? That's just kind of the nature of American politics. I don't know what the fix on that is. I really don't. I mean, I do, but I don't know how we're going to get there from here. I really don't. The lack of accountability is staggering. It is staggering. I had a guy call me up the other day. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's a state representative and he wants to be the Speaker of the House down here in Lansing. This is the second time he called me. And he called me, and I feel like saying to him, you want me, and what he wanted, what he really wanted is he wants me to endorse him to our network of patriots, right? You get the patriot vote, that's saying something, But to do that, to get the patriot vote, you have to prove yourself as one of us. You can't just say, well, get me elected and then I will do this. Then I will do this. It's sort of like one time we were at a church in Montana and it was missionary night. And so this guy's coming and we read his pamphlet and everything. Wow, he's going to be a missionary to Japan. And I thought, oh, I want to hear that because I lived in Japan for a while. And, that's a long bridge there in Japan if these guys are going to go to Japan and they're going to bring the gospel to Japan. So I wanted to hear this. And so I go and he's all, gung-ho about what he's going to do and stuff. And he wants us to make donations to him. But he says the donations are going to be for he's going to take a course on how to speak Japanese. And when I spoke to him, I said, so have you been to Japan? No. Do you speak Japanese at all? Nope. Like, not even at all? No. I said, you want me to give you money and then you're going to do it. Like, you haven't done even a little bit of it and you want money first and then you're going to do it. I said, that's not leaning forward enough for me, pal. You invest something in this and then we will too. So this guy that wants to be the Speaker of the House, he's claiming he needs $300,000 to become the Speaker of the House. And so he's saying, when I am Speaker of the, when you get me elected, then I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I kind of said, well, we just walked through this whole COVID debacle. You'd agree it was a bunch of BS. Oh, yeah, a bunch of BS. Yeah, somebody should have done something. I said, what did you do? Well, if I was the House, I would have. Did you put any bills forward to rein in some of these bureaucrats that were going hog wild, like the Secretary of State closed down all the registry of motor vehicles? We had to have appointments to get in there, and all this stuff that they did. They basically bankrupted the state over COVID, and all of our little state reps and senators, they kind of none of them put any bills forward saying, hey, look, this violates our Constitution, state Constitution, federal Constitution. Not one of them. And you want me to give you money so you can be the Speaker of the House? Fat chance. Let's see you prove yourself first, Junior, and then we'll do something about it. They do nothing. All right. The Ghost is saying, I remember George Gordon doing a show on the guy that made several machine guns. He made everything himself, and the court found the ATF had no standing to bust him for it. There was no agreement with them. You were not working under license at all. Machine guns, I don't know about that. I know machine guns are a different. There is a law, and I'm not saying that it is lawful. I'm not saying that it's constitutional, but you can own a machine gun here in the United States. You just have to, you have to get a certain license. You have to have permission to get that machine gun. So I suppose it's probably like operating a motor vehicle. They want you to enter an agreement with them in order to own a machine gun. Machine guns are overrated. Yeah, let's have some thumbs up. We got any more questions? Any more things you all's wanting to talk about? I don't hear anything more about the trucker rally here in the United States. It shows you the power of the U.S. Media still. I mean, they're losing it every day, but they still have the power to cover what they want and just blow off. I mean, you wouldn't even know what's happening. Not even on Facebook. You don't even hear much about the trucker rally. I have no idea how many trucks are involved, what kind of impact it's going to cause, any of that stuff. I don't know what to think. I do hear things about the three-letter agencies and the alphabet agencies that we just do not trust anymore. Most Americans were just like, no, I don't want to speak to you because, I hear that there are more of them that are good than are bad. And I just know that it's more people in those agencies. And it's just human nature. Like take, for instance, any department, any sheriff's department, any state police, any of those, when you have young men and women that say, I want to do this, they look at the state police and they say, boy, I have respect for those guys. Most people don't interact with them, but the appearance of those state police is reassuring. It is to most people. It is to me. I'm glad they're there. If I ever needed them, I'm glad they are the way they are. Their leadership, no, I'm not okay with that because they have been politicized, and the administrations that we've had over the years have just been extremely unconstitutional. But the police departments overall are inhabited by people that went in for the right reasons. And they always have that. Even they may be at 28 years and seen corruption and everything else, but they still are that type of person that is there for the right reasons, and that's the truth. I served in the military for 20 years, and I know that towards the end, you do get a little bit cynical because of a lot of what we dealt with during my time. I was in from 04 to or from 84 to 04. About 10 years in, we started dealing with political correctness, which was the onset of communism. And it took hold pretty well. I mean, people really got, you had to keep your mouth shut about certain subjects. Now, you could talk all day long about the Sasquatch or, snowmobiles or, I don't know, the NBA or the NFL or anything like that. But certain subjects, you can't talk about that. So we're sovereign citizens of the United States. We are free. We all have the right to free speech, but not this. You can't talk about this. And you have to play this game, this supposed game that they're putting forward that, it's the military and we all can run as fast as the next person, but we can all carry the same weight. Well, that's not true. We can't. And the military has typically been very prejudiced. You've got to be You can't be too tall. You can't be too short. You can't be too fat. You can't be too skinny. You can't be too dumb, right? You can't be a drug user. You can't be, all kinds of things, certain career fields that only certain people can be in, because that's the way it is, and it's for certain reasons, right? But that's what I dealt with the most. That was very, very difficult for me. People in my age group, it was really, really tough. I hear it's kind of swinging the other way because they went to the extreme. They went to the extreme that, any kind of behavior is fine, and that's not, the military is a very specialized group of people to do a certain thing, and it's not fair. I remember at one point, my kid, my my second and my third oldest boys were in wrestling, right? And everything was going fine. Seemed to be pretty good wrestling. And then all of a sudden we went to a wrestling meet. There was two girls there, and they were about the same age as my boys. And my boys, if things progressed, were going to be wrestling these girls. And I called foul immediately between me and my wife. I said, that's not going to happen. I don't need, these two little boys don't need to be doing that. That's not, no. And there was another family there, and the wife, they went to our church, and the wife was military. And I just assumed that she would be on the same page with me. And I said, do you think this is right? And she was like, oh, yeah, definitely. Girls deserve every opportunity that men do. I said, well, you mean just the ones they want to then, right? Or should they be, your military, should you be forced to do the same stuff I have to do? Well, within reason, she says, right? So there was this kind of double standard, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good for morale, but that was just an example of it. And I took my kids out because I wasn't going to have that happen. And yeah, I'm glad I did. I still think it was the thing to do. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I mean, I am not anti-female by any means, but I just think there's a time and a place. And it's just like, I don't belong in the ladies' room. That's just not right. And I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say, well, I deserve to be treated equal. And if I want to go in the ladies' room, I should be able to. Even the ladies' locker room. Why not? We're all equals, right? Well, that's not true, right? It has nothing to do with equality. It has everything to do with sanity, right? It's not equality or equity or any of that stuff. It's just sanity. And it sort of swung too far the other way. And we had a lot of things happen that weren't good. I'll just leave it right there. And so now it's kind of swinging back the other way. But all right. Maybe I shouldn't go on that. I know some people ain't going to like that. The Mangalitsa's pigs shed their hair from winter to summer and summer to winter. They shed going into summer. I've heard it called a molt, but they'll not drop all their hair, but they'll drop the real puffy stuff on the outside. And it's not every year, and they don't all do it. They don't all do it. Can anybody back me up on that? Coastal saying it's still pretty cold here, and some of the pigs seem to be losing their coat. Still snow on the ground and getting the winter coat off. Yeah, I'm seeing it too here. I had 50-something degrees here today, bright sun. It's been the first day where I had to take my jacket off to work. I was just getting too hot. Okay. Pretty nice lately here on Vancouver Island. I expect to see the snakes out soon. Then I'll know spring is here. Okay. Wow, you guys have snakes that bad? We have garter snakes, and that's really about it. I don't see anything else. I know there's other snakes here, but what kind of snakes are you talking about? I'm not really a big snake fan. Even when I see a big garter snake, I'll just hi, let them go. I don't go picking them up. That was one of the things in Montana that was always kind of a, were rattlesnakes. And the first time I saw, oh, okay, just garter snakes. All right. I was working at a missile site, and you could, if it was really weird, like you're on this missile site, it's like super high security. And if you say, well, I just want to go on outside the wire and just look for snakes, they'd be like, no, you can't do that. I mean, we have security here. You can't do. Well, if you say, I'm going jogging, then physical fitness, have a nice day. So you just leave and then you pick the phone up to get back in. It was really dumb, but so I would go out jogging and I would jog down the driveway and it's like, I've had enough of that. And I slow to a walk, but you had to be really careful when you were walking on the pavement because it would be warm and the snakes would come from the side out onto there and they would just sit there at night. And so you didn't jog at night unless you had a hemp on, and even then you might not, you see cracks, it might be a snake, but if you were out walking during the day, you kind of stayed away from the road. And I knew a guy that I knew two guys that got bit by rattlesnakes, and one of them almost died. One of them, when you saw his arm, it was so bad. Like they laid it open quick to let it open up. And then when they stitched it together, it just it didn't look good. And we had some good friends whose dog got bit. And he never got over it. It affected his central nervous system. And they finally found him floating in a pond. Yeah, I didn't like rattlesnakes. We saw one in the yard one time when the kids were playing. Look at the snake. And they were, running, jumping over it and stuff. And it was just a little fella, but they're not good. And I've seen big ones too that I didn't like. I have a hard time letting snakes go if I got a gun. I really do. Those kind of snakes. Yeah. And there's millions of them. So you're never going to get them all. They're all over the place in Montana. All right. Any more questions? It's 9:18. May have stuck my foot in my mouth, but I do that. Boy, you know what? I sometimes think when I was under the impression that I was only going to live to 94, that I would say something like, gee, I really want to go up to Nova Scotia and, see you guys. I want to do that. Why not? I mean, that would be a real kick. We have our school bus built and, we just take off out of here for a month and we head up to Nova Scotia. We go over to Alberta, we'll get down to British Columbia for a little while and meet with the people. And when I was under the impression that I was only going to live to 94, I was like, gee, I don't know if I'm going to have time because I got all this stuff that I need to do. But now that I'm going to be living to 200, I'll have time. But I want you guys to live to 200 too. So you need to start programming your cells that, 76, no, that's out. We're not doing that. That's just programming from the mainstream media because they want us to just check out early because they call us useless food eaters, but we're going to go 200. Just don't tell anybody. And you'd be out there with your school bus driving around and good night's sleep, getting up, seeing the ocean and eating fish and all that stuff. So I am looking at school buses every day. Several times a day I'm looking at them. And there's like a thing that's happening is I'm learning how to winnow out what you don't want, right? And right now, I'm at a place where I actually want two, right? I want a 53 passenger bus, right? I want a Cummins engine in it with an Allison transmission. That's bulletproof. And if you can get hydraulic brakes, that's really good because then you don't need an endorsement for air brakes, right? So you can just drive it, you know. And they call that a mid-size, right? And a mid-size would be fine for me. I want to build a deck off the back of it so I can hoist up my motorcycle and I can have a vise up on there. I can put my propane tanks up there and I can sit out there and drink a cool one once in a while and actually have a set of stairs or a ladder that goes up onto the top with a little crow's nest up on top of the back of the bus with railings that I can fold down and strap down. So that's that one. But that one would be to take out on tour, right? You've got a route that you're going, you dedicate this much in fuel, and away you go. But then I actually want to have a short bus, right? And I like Fords. I really do. I like Fords, but I sure like the Duramax engine, and that is a Chevrolet, right? So a Chevrolet short bus with a Duramax. I don't think it really matters what transmission, but they're all matched up, I believe, with an Allison, so that's fine. And I just want to have a full-size bed in back, just a full, not a queen, right? And I want it really bare bones. So, like the water closet will basically be a closet with a bucket in it and some bags of biochar and wood shavings. So I don't. If I really get into it, then okay, let's put a toilet in and a great, a tank that we can flush into and all that stuff. But I don't think that one I'm actually going to use in that capacity. That would be the one. Like me and Jill were going to get this fridge today, and I said, if we had that, we would just look at the weather report, and there's going to be a really nice weekend, and we want to shoot up to the UP and go swimming, we go. If we feel like staying, we've got a bed. If the kids are with us, we'll set up a tent, and they can stay in the tent in cots, and we can have a trailer behind this thing, and we can put all our tent and all that stuff in it. But the beauty of it is you have your own food, and you have a place to stay. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit less economical than our car is to go. Because if we take the car, okay, we can bring a cooler with us, but you can't really cook, and you can't stay in it, right? So you got to get a campground, and campgrounds are a pain in the butt, But if you have this thing and you say, you got friends up there that have farms, you say, hey, mind if we just land on your place and we'll just stay there the night, and yeah, we don't care. There's plenty of room out in the back. Just pick up when you go or whatever. I think that would be the way to go. And plus this stealth camping too. Like if you have a rig and it's set up right, you can park it someplace, slip into the back, crash out. In the morning you're getting up. If somebody comes and says, hey, you can't park here. Oh, we're just leaving. After I finish this cup of coffee, I'm just leaving. All right, thanks. Yeah, whatever, But campgrounds they're almost like hotels. It's sort of like you pull in and no school buses here. We don't accept school buses. We're racist against school buses, right? But I've heard that's that's not exactly true. I've heard that it is true, but then on forums that I frequent quite a bit, people ask that question, and people will say, I've been doing this for 20 years and no one's ever bothered me at a campground. So I really want to do school bus thing, and it not just operating it and going on vacation in it or a tour. I want to build it out myself. I think that's going to be really fun. So we're at a place right now where we're going to have to do some major insulating in our classroom. Right? So who knows anything about spray foam insulation? Has anybody on here ever bought some of that equipment? I mean, the real stuff, not the Home Depot stuff, because I'm considering making the investment in it, and we'll use it to do the work that we have to, and then maybe just sell it again. I wonder if anybody knows about that. Is Justin on tonight? He knows about everything. Okay. Coastal saying, come eat lobster. Surely it fits the carnivore diet. Yeah, well, I love lobster. And Inga's saying, run the bus on gasification. Now, wouldn't that be something? It can be done. It can be done. So, hey, we're running low on fuel. All right, let's stop and cut some of this deadfall out of the forest here. We need fuel. Never know. Be able to take you out Fukushima salmon fishing. Good stuff, pre-cooked. Does it glow? Is what I want to know. Okay, Inga's saying there's a guy in Michigan converting his old truck to that. He also builds gasification units. Just found him on YouTube. Hey, would you shoot that to me? I'd like to. Part of your question tonight was the difference between a retort and a gasifier. And the simple answer on that, a gasifier, the final result or the product that you're looking for is wood gas. On a charcoal retort, you're looking for charcoal. So it just depends what you want. If you want to generate gas to run a recip engine or an internal combustion engine, you can. It's a slightly different configuration, but you're looking for a different end result. Our retorts that we build, they're you light it and walk away, right? And it burns at whatever rate it's producing the gas at. The more heat it produces, the more gas it produces, and the faster it burns. And the more heat it produces, and the faster it burns. And we're not trying to conserve fuel there. Our end goal is biochar. If you build a gasifier, your goal is wood gas. So you're going to want to be able to vary the rate of burn, because you sort of want a trickle of gas, not a start up slow and then a blowout of gas and then trickle off. You want it to be a trickle, for a long period of time. And you can do that. Wood gasifiers are nothing new. They are nothing new. The ghost says, yeah, if I go camping, it's always out on crown land somewhere. Can't stand other people if I'm camping. Yeah, I don't like campgrounds. You can always hear people and smell people, and they do things. It's time to practice my trumpet, at 7:00 at night, and I don't want that. Some people like that, but I had an incident. We were asked to do a hog roast in the Upper Peninsula for a family who had lost a child, right? And so we did. We went up there and we took our vehicle and a tent, and we take our trailer. Yeah. No, we didn't take a trailer. It was just our vehicle. It was just me and Jill and two little boys. It's a couple of years ago. And there was a roaster up there that we were going to use, and we took one of our pigs up there. and we were going to do the roast and we were going to serve it. And it was a strange situation, but we knew them and we knew their children, and one of the children died. So anyway, we went up there, and that was not the point. The point was we had to stay at a campground to set up our tent, and it was close to where we were doing the event, and the price was right. And so we said, yeah. They gave us a campsite. We set up. Our vehicle was there. Our tent was there, and we went to bed. 1 o'clock in the morning, a guy pulls in a bus, and it's a rear engine bus, and he stops on the road, and he's trying to find his campsite. 1 in the morning, I'm no joke. His exhaust pipe is 2 feet from me, and he sits there and lets the thing idle for a good 10 minutes while he goes down with his flashlight and checks out the spot. Yeah, this is a good spot. Well, we could back it in here. Maybe we should pull in, him and his wife. And I come out of the tent. I said, are you out of your mind? And he says, what? I said, never mind. And I went to Redline, and the guy was so dumb, just so dumb. And pulls it down there, makes a whole bunch of noise, 1 o'clock in the morning, just like oblivious that other people are losing a night's sleep because of his foolishness. I mean, a normal, considerate person would have just pulled in at the visitor station, shut down, and waited till the morning to get their spot. Oh, no, not this guy. And we were there one more night, and they were so loud. Yeah, where are they from? Chicago. Imagine that. Just idiots. I couldn't resist, though. There was I had to step outside the tent, and I was outside the tent, and I could hear them running their mouths and stuff. I just couldn't resist. There was an apple on the table, and I got a pretty good arm, and I can put it really up high, and I bounced it off the top of that bus. Yeah, it was probably a rotten thing to do, but I couldn't resist. Yeah, okay. Well, we're 33 minutes past, so we're at an hour and a half. I think I'll call it good. Appreciate everybody coming by. Hopefully we get this resolved. If not, I will get a whiteboard up behind me so I can show you what a retort looks like. I got to have something I can draw on. This is kind of dumb. But this thing should work pretty good. It did. I actually used it, and I thought, okay, this will work pretty good. I tried the thing with a camera, but it reverses it. And I cannot do that. I cannot write in reverse. And so I was able to look at what I was writing, but what I would see on here would be reversed. And I guess I'm not talented enough to do this. There was a time, some of you might remember, that I couldn't give commentary on these subjects with the chat running if I could see the chat, because I would get distracted. I couldn't do that. So I've come a long way. I'm be the next Rush Limbaugh. Or a dog starts barking in the background and just drive me bananas. I hear a dog in the next room having a dream right now. And at first I thought it was a dog barking outside. It's like, I'm going to do something. All right. You know who I haven't seen? I haven't seen Jack in a while. I'm wondering, there are people that don't chime in. I wonder if you would chime in for a minute just so I can see who's here. Maybe people want to be covert, but I would just like to see who's here. And please give us a thumbs up. All right. I'll be checking on that later. All right. I'm going to get going. Night, you guys.